Welcome to the bi-week edition of IMS Radio.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it again.
Welcome to the bi-week
for everybody up here.
Technically, last week was the bi-week edition, if we're being technical.
But we were reviewing the game. I feel like there's no game to review. Anyway, welcome to IMS Radio. As always, Jeff Ehrman is here, the publisher of Inside Maryland Sports. Paul Douglas is here. His headline today is Iron Lion Zion. Nice.
Shout out to Citizen Cope for the idea, by the way. That was a nice retweet.
My name is Larry France. My headline is Elely Oxenfree. So there you go. Little play on the Zion Elee name.
If you're under 7, you know what he's talking about. Right? We got a huge first grade fan base out there.
Yeah. If you ever played tag when you were a kid, I guess, right? Anyway.
At least we're us old guys who actually used to play outdoors and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a tag app now.
No one actually, none of the under 7 kids know that now, Paul. That's old.
Yeah. It's all like Gorilla Tag on their Oculus now or something.
Yeah. Well, as Paul and I both hinted at, the guest today is Zion Elee, which we're very excited about. We keep calling him the number 1 recruit in the country. I guess there's been some updates because he's either 2 or 3, depending on how you look. But still, I wrote number 1.
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm excited anymore. It's not even the same. It's not the same.
I put it in the title, but then I went when I started doing the research and everything, and I was like, wait, he's number 2 now. Number 2.
Yeah, it was maybe On 3 or Rivals, whatever, updated their rankings, and he dropped.
They did it on purpose.
They hate Maryland.
They hate Maryland.
They're never letting Maryland have the number 1.
Seriously.
Come on.
Yeah, well, let's see if Brett McMurphy steals any of the info from that we get out of Zion today. We'll see if that happens. They steal
breaking news. Must credit.
Yes, Brett. If you're watching, it's called Inside Maryland Sports Radio.
Why did we not clip the Bruce Feldman? What is IMS Radio? We had to clip that, didn't we? Somewhere.
Yeah, I thought
he said that when we were asking him for the bumper.
I think when Larry called him, because we had set up the interview, maybe even with his people. And Larry called him and said, "Hey, this is Larry from IMS Radio." And he's like, "Who is IMS Radio?" Or what is IMS Radio?
Yeah, what's IMS Radio? Yeah, because remember we used to do it on Zoom. Oh no, Skype originally.
First, right?
We had to call people, and I would I'd play music or a commercial, and while that was going, I'd call the person and be like, "All right, we're going to go live in 30 seconds," and all. You remember all that stuff?
Yeah,
anyway,
that was, very manual.
Yeah,
incredibly manual.
That's what it was, and I said, "Hey, Bruce, this is IMS Radio," and he's like, "What's IMS Radio?" Which is really funny. Hang on, Do I have it? I'm looking here. Hang on. I might be coming through here, guys. with the clip. I had to look in my old folders.
Bruce, you were on the air with IMS Radio. How you doing?
Good. What's IMS Radio?
There you go. There it is. I found it.
Totally forgot about that one. That's a while ago.
A long time ago.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's going on my tombstone.
I'm just glad there's enough football momentum and interest starting to build up that we can have football guests back-to-back weeks and have people actually excited
care about it.
Yeah, well, and probably the last 2 weeks being the 2 most interesting of the football guests we could potentially have. I mean,
well, there's a third. Get Malik.
There's a few more.
Get Malik on the show.
I was trying to let Jeff off the hook, but that's fine. That's fine. There's one more we could do.
We'll get him.
Yeah.
Next bye week. I think we can make that work.
Yeah. I think this season was perfectly split into 3 quadrants of 4 games with bye weeks in between each of the 4.
And then you add in Washington coming off the Ohio State game and flying cross country. I mean, you could not have this. You couldn't have set the schedule up better. This is like karmic reward for all those years of just dogging it through.
If they take advantage of it,
State. What's that?
they have to if they take advantage of it, do they have to travel across country? They didn't have a bye week. Maryland did. So hopefully the new coordinators are going to help prepare better than Maryland has in the past. Also, they had a bunch of injuries. So a lot of things that are helping out Maryland here. And if you look at, I looked at S&P, they like Maryland of all the projections. I collect them all. S&P's does, I don't have it game by game there, but they have Maryland. What do they have? 32nd in the country, I think. Yeah. And their prediction is for Maryland to win the game by 1.6 points. So Washington is favored by 5.5 or whatever. What is it? Is it 6?
Yeah, right around there, 5.5 or 6.
It was higher, but it got bet down, right?
Yeah, so, that's odd that their numbers are so much different. Usually all the numbers kind of intertwine, but I feel like they have a great shot at winning the game. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating Washington based on the OSU game. We don't know. They're just like Maryland. The first 3 games, they put up elite numbers, but we don't know, because of the competition in those games.
Yeah, but we talked about it last week, the triplets, their version of the triplets, Damon Williams, Jonah Coleman, and Denzel Boston are all elite. Could be first-round picks, arguably the best of their position in the Big Ten. Like, they're very, very good. It's just that Ohio State, unbelievably, after all the guys they lost on defense last year, looked like the best defense in the country again.
Yeah, you got $30 million to spend or whatever it might be, and you're already the rich kids of the Big Ten. That's
and coming off a natty.
Exactly.
Yeah, they got it rolling.
Must be nice. With Washington game's interesting for me because last week against Wisconsin, you saw a situation where it was Maryland's ability to kind of like, basically Maryland's ability to play defense against Wisconsin's inability to score points, and kind of vice versa. Their defense was pretty good. Their run defense was certainly very good. Maryland's run game isn't very good at all. This week, you've got 2 situations where you've got a very good Washington offense going against a very good Maryland defense. I feel like that's where the game's going to be won. Can Maryland keep that team under, 21, 24? If they can, I think they win that game. I think it's almost as simple as it comes down to. I don't think Washington's defense is particularly good. They're certainly not elite. They're losing their best defensive end. It looks like he's going to be hurt or at least limited. And certainly Maryland's offense, they've been able to put up points, but they're not very good at putting long drives together because they're not really able to establish the run and keep it, or kind of make all of those little 3 and 5, 7 yard passes kind of serve as like a surrogate run game when that's not actually working out for them. Now they get rid of a bunch of those drops that might actually work for them. So I think really it's going to be Maryland's defense against Washington's offense. That's where the game's going to be won or lost. Whatever happens, if Maryland just ends up putting up a bunch of points against them, that might do it too. But certainly that's not what I would expect or call for. But then again, it's one of these weird games. Maryland's coming off a bye. Is that good or bad? Washington's coming all the way across the country. Teams from the West Coast have not done very well when they've done that in the past against other Big Ten teams. So I don't know. It's exciting. I think certainly all of us have that little thing in the back of our heads just being like, oh, are they going to do it again? Like, are they going to do it again? And
is this Iowa again, right? Is it
or Northwestern? I mean, it's not even now. A lot of those, if you look at all those losses coming off of byes, a lot of them are like Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State. So like, that's not really a totally fair comparison. That Iowa team was really, really good that year. I think they played in the Big Ten championship that year. So like, it's not just like, oh, well, Maryland always gets their ass kicked after bye weeks. They've had some tough matchups too. This is not one of them. I mean, Washington, again, is a good football team. Like Larry said, their offensive guys, they're very, very quality. But they're also going against Maryland's defense, and we will surely find out whether Maryland's defense is for real this week.
In
mean,
the past,
I think it is, but we'll find out.
For real, the pass rush, I think they're second in the Big Ten in sacks. Obviously, Sidney Stewart is tied for first or second. Zahir Mathis won, but Washington's pass blocking has not been that good. So,
and what I was just going to say to add on to that quickly, I think they're starting left tackles out, and they're switching their right tackle to left tackle, who's a freshman. So, and they have to bring in a sub to play the right tackle. So,
which
Sidney
might be
and
Maximus
Zahir,
Dupree, the former Maryland offensive lineman who didn't play much.
Yeah,
so
that could really help.
Their offensive line's not that good. So, that athletic front for Maryland, this is the week we'll see if they've been feasting on poor competition or if they're for real. And same with Ted Monachino's defense in general. I mean, they're top 10 in like seemingly every category nationally, but this is the first high-powered offense that they'll see.
And the first good quarterback. There's going to be plays where Damon Williams does a little Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson thing. That's going to happen.
And he's going to have Daniel Wingate standing there waiting for him. And that's a matchup that I'm fascinated to see because Wingate is so athletic and so good. He was so good at bottling up that guy for Wisconsin. I mean, obviously, he's not the same quality as the kid from Washington, but still, I mean, I think when you look at just the way this defense plays against that offense, like this could be a game where they feast if they could just keep him contained. I think it's really about keeping that quarterback contained, not letting him go and, get that typical 3rd and 12 first down that we're used to seeing when Maryland's done all the hard work on 1st and 2nd down, and then there's a lapse on 3rd down and it kills them. Like that's what's cost them in these games in the past. And those are the types of things I want to see change. That's the type of thing where every year we talk about, it's like, all right, what can we see that's different? What's new? What can they do that's better than they haven't done in the past? And this is a really great opportunity to show that.
You talked about the surrogate run game, and I had sort of proposed that actually a few weeks ago, and then they tried it, and there was the drops. Like if they hold onto the ball, they can do that. They just got to hold on the ball. There were the 6 drops and many of them killed drives.
Yes, and most of those drops were short, little completable passes that just put you ahead of the chains. Now Malik throws some fastballs. He's got to learn a little bit of touch on some of these short passes. So but again, you're getting paid big money and you're on scholarship and you're getting paid. Catch the ball. I mean, I ain't got time for that. Like catch the ball.
Well, we knew the receiving core was going to be one of the weaker units, and they've been solid enough. Clearly, he's thrown for 250 in every game, but we knew it was kind of lacking consistent playmakers. So, and I thought Dorian Fleming would have done more by now. He's averaging about 28 yards a game, something like that, 30 yards a game, which is a little surprising. So maybe this is his breakout week.
Well, it's been the last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, last 2 weeks they just haven't gone to him, and he had a drop or two as well. So I don't know if that's like a bit of a raise in competition thing, or if it's just kind of something that they moved away from with the offense. It does feel like, again, we were running a little bit more of a pro style, what I'd expect Pep Hamilton to run those first couple weeks, and then we've kind of moved over to kind of more of a Loxley style power spread kind of thing the last few weeks after that. So I wonder if he just might be getting caught in the changeover there, but he's certainly a target, and he's a perfect guy to do that surrogate run stuff. Just get a guy 5 yards out in space, let him go. Like that's the thing. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there to hit those small passes and to kind of fake that run game that you can't establish.
Yep.
But they also got to try to get the run game going. Like there's no reason offensive line should be that good at pass blocking and that bad at run blocking. That's typically a thing that starts to correlate as the season goes along, and hopefully it correlates more on the plus side than the negative.
Agreed. It's going to be really interesting. I'm so excited, and obviously you talked about the Maryland fan thing, worried about a repeat of Iowa. There's a lot of buzz right now. If they can win that game it's going to be hopefully close to a full stadium maybe, and they win that game, that could be such a great momentum program type thing. If you can win that in front of a full house at a 3:30 game, it would make them 5-0. And I don't know if they'll get ranked, but at least close to ranked. Maybe they would. But it would be so huge to pull it off.
This is a bring the fans back kind of game.
Yes.
Win over the casual fans, make new fans, largest crowd in forever, big name opponent. This is a chance to kind of break that trend of we've seen it so many times, get to 4-0, 5-0, whatever it may be. And then you have that big game, and it's like the Iowa game or the hideous Penn State games. So this is, Locks' chance to end that and kind of win back a lot of people. And it doesn't hurt that the Ravens and the Commanders are struggling too. And you've got this young hotshot freshman quarterback. They're pulling out all the stops, marketing him. Jaden Daniels actually tweeted, a promo for the game saying, go support my guy, Malik Washington. So they're putting a lot in that the previous admin. I mean, you have to have the star power to work with, obviously, but
they got it.
Yeah, this is a huge one. I mean, you can't really overstate it.
And the defensive ends.
Yeah, and if you lose it, I don't think as many people will jump off, but you definitely won't. That opportunity to just smack one off the tee is not going to be there.
You cannot get blown out in this game. You cannot, absolutely 100% cannot get blown out in this game. You can't do it. You cannot do it, or everybody will immediately be like
again. Every time I get excited, you know what I mean? And the ones who don't go on Saturday who are considering going the next time, they'll have a reason not to go. And
right. And that's the thing. Like, you just gotta go and play football, man. Like, here's the thing. The next 3 games are Washington at home, Nebraska at home, and at an absolute flailing, dying UCLA program on the road. There's going to be nobody there except probably West Coast Maryland fans. Can you win 2 out of those 3? You win 2 out of those 3, you're bowl eligible before mid-October, and you got 4 games ahead. You got a bye week with Indiana coming in. Obviously, Indiana's very good this year. But then you can start to really dream a little bit. I mean, I'm not even asking you to win all 3, which is perfectly possible. They'll probably be favored in 2 of the 3.
I think they win 2 of them. I feel like they'll win 2 of those.
It's
horrible, like you said.
If they win the first 2,
50-50-ish kind of games because they're both at home.
If they weren't wearing this jersey, I think just about anybody would expect 2 out of 3, right? If you looked at this team and they're wearing a different color jersey than this, that's a 2 out of 3. And that's what I want. That's what I expect. That's what this program needs to be doing at this time. I mean, it's great that, again, I did not think they were going to be very good this year. Okay. I will eat all the crow for that. That's fine. Prove it to me. Make me the bulletin material. Put it up. Hey, dumb idiot online says we're not, we're going to be only going to win 4 this year. And we're already there before September's over. Well, maybe look even stupider. Win 5 before September's over. And then go beat Nebraska's ass, and then go to UCLA, beat their ass, have a couple weeks off, and then see what you can do with Indiana. I mean, just everything is right there in front of this team. It is just right there to grab. I mean, you can if you could not be a total homer and look at the rest of the schedule and be like, I see 10. I see 10.
If they win, possible. If they win Saturday, then you can force yourself to play with the schedule and see a possibility of 10.
Right. Hey, Mr. Popo, shut up.
Yeah. I noticed that too. I was going to say it, but
look, and it's almost
not September.
It's still
anymore.
September to me. Okay, because we don't talk about October in football in this place. All right, we're not doing that. It's still September until I say so.
Yeah, but I mean, if they win the game, the analytics are going to put them at something like over 8, maybe 8.5 on analytics.
Do they get ranked if they win this?
That's what I was just saying.
I don't think so because they're so beholden to their stupid preseason stuff. They're still going to be 4-1 and 3-2 teams that are just slowly sinking out of the rankings.
That's where they needed Washington
and there's
last weekend.
And there are 11 SEC teams that need to be ranked. Don't forget. So
right.
That's
and plus, let's be honest. I mean, again, Washington is the best team Maryland will have played, but they're not ranked either. So they've really only watched. If they win that game, they've only beaten one team that is like a legit bowl team. The rest could be just complete donkeys. Even though they look good in the process.
Nebraska, though, and you're probably top 20.
Yes. I think you win these
both,
two.
Then you're absolutely ranked at 6-0. If you beat all of them,
you beat UCLA the next week, you're top 15. Then you win the next 5 or 6 through national championship. You're number 1.
This is the same thing West did in the post game Wisconsin.
I mean, it's not hard to do when you just look at that schedule. I mean, it's.
Win them.
I mean, the schedule is stupid. Okay, let's go past the bye week. Indiana at home. Okay,
let me share something.
That's maybe a 10%, 15% proposition. The way they look right now, they look nasty. Fair enough.
While you're doing it, there you go.
At Rutgers, whatever. At Illinois, looks a whole lot easier right now than it looked a couple weeks ago. Michigan at home, they're good. Are they scary?
If you're 10-0 at that point.
Are they Michigan scary this year?
That sentence this season. If you're 10-0 at that point,
right? Yeah. Well, we're living in La La Land right now. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if they're 10-0 by Michigan, they're probably number 5 in the country because they beat Indiana along the way and possibly a ranked Illinois too. But and then at Michigan State, which isn't even at Michigan State, it's at Ford Field, so it's a neutral site game.
All the stuff you're saying, if I offer you 7-5 right now, you taking it?
100%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
100%.
That's what I thought.
I am so beaten, man. You know me. I am just beaten to the pulp, man. I want it so bad, and I'm just. I've lived this experience.
7-5 is worst case at this point. I feel like
probably.
Now if they get blown out on Saturday, I'm dead wrong. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that anything other than 6 is worst case, but 7-5 feels like worst case if they're legit. If they maybe lose this game, but they play well, they're in it, it's close, whatever. That feels different.
They'll probably, if they lose this game, they'll probably drop below 7. They'll probably be 6.5-ish in the analytics. But I did update all the analytics. I didn't ask you guys to. I knew you guys wouldn't change anything after a bye week. I changed a couple of tiny things, but I did update all of from the analytics sites. They moved down slightly. They actually moved up in rankings on average by about a 1 spot, but their win total moved down by about 10% of a game, which is weird. And then here are the predicted records. Team rankings says 6-6 is still the most likely at 28%. K Ford says 7-5 is most likely at 31%. And the bowl chance is 71%, 91%, 89%.
Yeah, so that tells you the numbers make you think 6 is probably the bottom end here. It's interesting though, Larry, if you look at those numbers, even from the computer numbers, they think Nebraska is a tougher game than Washington, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way.
I mean, Nebraska played Michigan really close last week, and
they beat Cincinnati, who's playing well.
Yet except Ohio State.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's just maybe that's just I don't know. I still just don't believe in that program right now.
Yeah. Before the year, I was saying I think that Nebraska and USC are both going to have the sort of former blue blood programs are going to have resurgences this year, and they kind of are.
Yeah,
but not entirely.
They had a chance to win that one late. That would have been big for them. The Lemon kid, the receiver, is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's really
Brett
good.
Bielema at Illinois, what a great coach to turn Illinois into this after just a few years. How amazing had Illinois been, with the exception of those few years with Locks and Ron Zook. And
1 year, really. 1 year, really.
1 year,
they went
basically.
into the the
Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Yep, it's nice having Regis Ben and Rashard Mendenhall back there too. That was useful. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there's all the analytics. The average is about 7. the average and
We
analytics.
killed for that before the season, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Things
That would
change.
be
Some teams are better than you think. Some teams are worse than you think. I think, anybody who would have called this Maryland defense before the season was either like on meth or part of the coaching staff. And
well, we'll see. It's only 4 games.
Okay, well, obviously, I mean, even if they regress a little bit, it's still. I thought it would be a horrific defense.
Yeah,
I could not.
very good.
I would never have imagined.
I told you I did not project this. I'm not going to say that, but I did tell you I thought the defense would be a lot more athletic and faster and better.
No, that's true. That's certainly true. I just, we've been fooled before. We were told so much about that defensive line last year, and you saw.
Oh yeah, and then no doubt. And then the receiving core a few years ago with Demas and Tim Jarrett and those guys had a lot of hype, and it didn't pan out. But we had actually. I'm biased, but there's a great story on the site right now about the transfers who left. The guys Locks kind of said, "Okay, you can go on because I have a better, younger, cheaper player to replace you with." So we did a kind of an analysis and look at the guys who left and how well the guys he replaced them with are, and it's a freaking landslide. Literally, Roman Hemby is basically the only transfer who's doing anything of any substance. Yeah,
he's having a good year at Indiana. Zion Elee is going to be joining us in about 3 minutes here. Before we do that, there's some pretty cool football recruiting going on, maybe potentially, Jeff.
So then, most of the 2026 class is done except for, a few guys who they'll try to flip. And then if there's more decommitments like Thomas Wilder, who's a offensive tackle who's committed to Virginia Tech. He was their highest rated commitment, had chosen them over Maryland and Penn State as his finalists. Obviously, with coaching change at Virginia Tech, he's reevaluating his options. He'll be at Maryland this weekend, and I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't get on board before long.
Well, that would be good because they only have a few. They need, but even besides that, they don't have very many players in the class at all. They're ranked something like, what are they ranked 70th or something? Because small. They just haven't signed anybody. They're actually, if you sort by average player rating, they're between 25th and 30th. So it's like a normal kind of style Maryland class. It's just that they only have half of the amount of people, or even less.
Zion Elee lifts that rating up quite a bit, but but the roster is very young this year. I don't remember what the number of graduates after this. It's like 7 guys or something like that graduating. So it's gonna be a small class, and you always have to save room for the portal, obviously. But I guess if they go 6-0 or 7-0, whatever it is, and start getting more buzz, it'll look genius to hold those spots until later in the season when you got all those good vibes going. And good vibes going largely because of the current true freshman, which is a hell of a sales pitch to high school kids. Like, how often do you see true freshmen come in and do what these guys are doing? Like, almost never, at least at Maryland. So,
certainly not in football. I mean, that's what it's like. Football, you almost always have guys who need just a year in the weight room and the meeting room just to be able to get on the field and do what they need to do. And these guys are just all ready. It's fascinating. And really just something to think about, when you move forward. You can just add on to the talent that's already there. It's really exciting.
Zion just joined, so let's add him to the stage. There he is. Zion, how are you?
Good.
We're really happy that you joined us. We're obviously everyone's really excited that you've committed to Maryland, and everyone's really first of all, before we get into that, how's your season going so far?
My season going great. We 3-1. I guess we lost to the number 1 team in the country. We on a rise. We're gonna be up there.
Nice.
Speaking of on the rise, Zion, how much watching what these true freshmen are doing at Maryland this year, how much does it make you feel like that's the right choice and you can go in there and have that same kind of immediate star quality next year?
I mean, just like you said, all the young guys are balling out right now, especially on the D line. So it just gives me a lot of confidence. I can jump in and make an impact immediately.
Yeah, Zion, I think a lot of us has been looking at the freshman defensive ends, Sydney and Zahir this year, and already dreaming about what we can do with the three of you on the field at the same time. So what's it been like for you? What are you in the lab working on right now? What's the stuff that you need to feel like you can get yourself ready so you can walk right in the spring and compete?
Man, to like just jump right into it and be able to play off the bat, I feel like I gotta gain more weight, be able to stop the run fit and get into the run fit a little bit more. So that's what I'm working on, my strength, my weight, stuff like that.
And jumping in, do you think you're going to be able to do that for spring ball, or you're going to have to wait till the fall?
I feel like I'm ready spring ball.
You'll be at Maryland for spring?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So have you talked much with those guys, Sydney and Zahir, or kind of like daydreamed about what it would like look like with you guys all rushing the passer together next year?
Yeah, I met Zaire at the All-American game last year, and Sid, I trained with Sid in the area. He's from this area I'm from, so, and we live like down the street from each other. So his actual house is down the street from mine, and we go, like I said, we go to the same trainer, so I see him pretty often.
Man, what's in the water on that street?
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody else we can recruit from that street? Anybody good? You got any neighbors who are balling out?
No, the only neighbor I know of is Sid. I don't really know anybody in the neighborhood.
Well, we're joking, but I wanted to ask about when you committed to Mike Loxley for your future. I know that's a big deal, especially now with NIL component and all those things. What was it about Mike and the Maryland program that convinced you that was the place to be?
Really just the fact that it's so close to home, and that, the connection I have with the guys that are there. Obviously, you said Sid, everybody's from the area, so I can get a kind of grasp of feeling for who they are as a person, and I feel like I can just connect with them immediately because of, where we're from. And with the coaches, it's the same thing. They're also from the area, so I guess it's easier to connect with them on a different type of level. So, yeah.
Hey, Zion, so a lot of people, recruiting nerds, love to follow recruiting and rankings, and you were famously ranked number 1, and for whatever reason I don't know why they dropped you to number 2 now, but I don't know if you saw that. Do you care about any of this stuff? Do you pay attention? Do you guys brag about it with your buddies? Anything like that? Do you care?
Not really. I don't really look at the rankings. I feel like it's just a ranking. There's a lot of guys that are studs, and they're not even looked at. So the rankings don't really mean anything to me, at least. I don't really look at them.
How well have you got to know Malik Washington, and what do you think it is about him that's kind of led to this resurgence for Maryland?
I talked to him a little bit. When I committed, he called me. He was the first person to call me when I committed. We talked right then and there, and I've been to like where he lives at on the campus like once or twice. So we talked a little bit, connected. I have a good feeling about him for the years to come.
Hey, Zion, you're on just a killer high school team. Obviously, your only loss so far is to the number 1 team in the country. You got a lot of talent on that team. There's some other guys you're talking to, trying to get you to join over at Maryland.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to talk to some 27s actually. For the 26 class, I got Jesse Legree. He's an underdog. I'm trying to get him on board. He don't got the offer yet, but I'm trying to work on that. He's the underdog. Definitely looking into him.
Are you going to talk that safety out of Bama and to Maryland with you?
All right, man. I tried. I don't know. He's pretty stuck on Bama.
Yeah, you're talking about people stuck on the other teams, but there seems to be a lot of buzz about Maryland in the local area right now. Do you sense that amongst all the players, not just at St. Francis, but the entire local area?
Yeah, I definitely do, because, Maryland, they're doing what people did not expect them to do with the guys that are from here. So now it's like, oh, these guys are really doing that. So it makes other people from their schools, their previous high schools, looking at Maryland differently. Like, Maryland's actually an option for the high school kids now. Before, everybody wanted to go out of state, but now they're taking the time to reconsider and think about going to Maryland. That's how I feel.
Zion, I've seen a few reporters or scouts or whoever else kind of trying to make it a thing where you might go here, you might go there. And I've seen your tweets about that. It feels like you kind of get the sense that they think just because it's Maryland and not Alabama or Ohio State that you're automatically going to go somewhere else while you're pretty locked in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people ask the question, why Maryland? I mean, if I committed to Bama, would you still ask why I committed? So, like, that's what I see.
What do you say when they ask you?
I mean, I tell them what I told y'all, the connection I have with Maryland. But like I was saying, if I committed to another school, they wouldn't be asking me why I committed.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're such a highly recruited kid, and like you've got all these programs with you. Are you ready to just throw your phone out the window at this point? Like, just everybody leave me alone until after signing day, and then maybe you can hook it back up.
I mean, the commotion has calmed down. A lot of coaches are respecting my decision now on. So I don't really got nothing to worry about. I'm kind of just chilling on my decision.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody's seen your tapes, Zion, what you can do at that edge position. Is there anything any part of your game you're trying to work on this season before you get to Maryland?
Yeah, I mean, I could work on every
right? Receiver now, kick return.
receiver. Yeah, I did play a little bit of kick return and running back in my previous game. I'm gonna do that this game too. So
I feel bad for that kick coverage team, man. I'm not trying to tackle you.
Very Henry out there.
hey man, they got what's coming to them.
You gonna convince Locks to let you return some kicks?
Hey man, I'll try. I displayed that I'm a useful prospect on offense. You know what I'm saying? They gotta let me get a shot at least. Put me in a package at least.
I like it.
And they're putting other players on special teams, so you never know.
Hey, hopefully.
Zion, what was it about Locks? What is it about Locks that's drawn you in and created this loyalty you have?
Hey, so far he's been a man of his word. That's all I can say. He's a great guy too.
That's certainly something we hear from all the recruits we talk to about Locks. That he told a bunch of these guys, like, we're going to give you a shot to play right away. And there's 6 or 7 guys, even on defense alone, who are true freshmen, getting real big minutes. So like, it's something that's happened with everybody, and I'm sure it's going to happen with you. And we can't be more excited about it. And I guess that leads to my last question, which would be, in terms of players that are out there in college or the pros right now, who are somebody that you kind of model your game after? You feel like you're kind of, like you expect some of this from me when I get there.
Somebody I model my game after, or not necessarily model, but just look at, to watch teach tape on, is Abdul Carter. A lot of people like looking at older guys, but it's a newer generation, so I like to look at the young guys. Abdul Carter is a fresh young guy. He knows what he's doing. I watch how he play, and I feel like I play like that.
All right, Zion. Well, we're very thankful that you joined us. We ask one thing if everybody comes on the show at the end of the interview. Could you do us a favor and say, this is Zion Elee, and you're listening to IMS Radio?
This is Zion Elee, and you're listening to IMS Radio.
Thank you, Zion. Nice. We're so excited, and we're really happy you're going to be there for spring ball. It's going to be great.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, man.
Thanks. Good luck. Stay healthy, and we'll see you soon, all right?
Appreciate it.
See y'all. Peace.
Later. Beautiful. I'm so excited, man. All I want to do is think about how we're going to get all those guys on the field at the same time. Like I'm just going to like make a NCAA football cheat code and just make them in there and just go for it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
We're already planning that. Oh yeah. NCAA football. So I play that game with my son all the time. That could be pretty fun next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
what I got to check and see if they've done a roster update. What they bumped Mathis and Sydney up to in terms of their rankings. But
the funny thing is this is really getting into nerd talk, but they had Zymir Smith as the highest rated freshman on the team and like the 8th highest true freshman in the country. He's the one of those highly touted true freshmen who's not really playing, which is kind of funny, but
yeah. He was a killer by junior year. Most of my dynasties.
Jeff, is him definitely coming to spring ball? Is that a scoop? Or is that already known?
I would have been surprised otherwise. Guys that that highly rated, with that kind of money being invested in them, they seem to far more often than not enroll early. It's almost a given.
Yeah.
Well, and just now, I know personally, like now that I have a senior in high school, like by the time they get to senior year, they're done. Like they are done. My kid walks out of school at like 11 every morning. Like
Same here.
Goes to his.
Man, that's crazy. It's like all his friends have it too. I'm like, I don't remember anybody having that when I was. Then again, they didn't all have 4.4 GPAs from all the weighted AP classes and everything else.
Right.
So
yeah. My kid has a college class now, or a couple college classes. So he goes from high school and drives to the community college to like take his classes. He was there the other day. They had one of those Westboro protests. He was just like, oh man, I've never seen anything like it. I'm like, welcome to college, kid. If you're lucky, the good protests have free pizza.
I didn't know they were still going.
Or you have a crab feast a la Fox or Locks.
Larry getting political on us.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
Oh, that's a
cool Locks. Crab feast. What?
Mike Foxley.
Mike Foxley, yeah. He did not care at all about the ranking. It's like some of them were like, I pay attention.
Yeah, no one ever really admits it for the most part.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes with that motif though. Like he seems like a different dude. Like he's just like, I made my decision. Leave me alone. I'm gonna go out and play football, and I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm not even worried about it. I mean, that's like you can tell some of those guys are just so, kind of driven, and like they don't get into like it's like an old school kind of thing. Like you don't get into the social media part of it really. You don't love the attention. I don't need to put out 6 hats and do crazy fireworks and stuff like a crazy gender reveal kind of thing for a commitment ceremony. Like he was just like, I want to go to Maryland. I want to play for Mike Loxley. That's what I'm going to do. See you in the spring. I mean, I love it. It's nice to have a bit kind of a throwback kind of thing. Just like, that's what I'm going to do. And you're not going to, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, they're all calling, and he's just not interested. It's really,
they're respecting his decision. So
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
When I asked him about people expecting him to decommit and go somewhere else because it's Maryland, you could almost feel the many months of annoyance of people asking him that, like he's moving to the downturn. You could tell, which I'm sure, people who don't follow closely, I'm sure he gets asked constantly. And you got guys in the media trying to fabricate that you might go here or there. And, it's a little different in the past. I might say, he probably, it's possible. But now that you can pay millions of dollars, it's a lot easier to get somebody locked in. So that helps also.
Well, and I love that response where he's just like, hey, would you be asking me that if I was committed to Alabama or Ohio State? No, you wouldn't. You're doing it because I'm committed to Maryland. And, that's, I don't know. You can almost feel the chip on his shoulder a little bit, just being like, I'm going to show all y'all.
Now just get 10 more of those a year, top hundreds. And then
that's fine. That's fine.
You take 2 and run with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, and we talked about this a little bit with the defensive end, and we've gone over the Maryland defensive end curse, right? Over the years, it feels like we're being finally paid back for that kind of all in the span of like a year and a half of real time, getting the 2 kids this year, and then with Elely coming in afterwards. And I think because we haven't had an impact defensive end since, I don't know, Andre Monroe that one year, like you don't remember how much those guys can affect the game on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, everything changes when you've got 2 guys who can wreak havoc in there. It makes the tackles better. It frees up the linebackers. The secondary can sit back and zone a lot more than they would typically. I mean, typically when Maryland's been burned in the past because they've had to play man up and down the line because they can't get pressure. So they've got to be able to cover those guys one-on-one. They can't do it a lot of the time. It's, it's college football. You're going to have guys who are just going to get beat. And now, when the defensive line can get pressure with 4, it just changes the whole philosophy of what that defense can do. So it's just super exciting, man.
And the secondary has been great too. Again, same old asterisk that they haven't played an explosive offense yet, but secondary is top 10 and a whole bunch
of those things are related as we've talked.
Rated really highly. So
yeah, well, they absolutely are related, and it looks like they could get Glasgow back this weekend too, which is huge. So I mean, that bye week could not have come at a better time for a couple of those nagging injuries as well. So like, there's a lot of positives here thinking about that game on Saturday, and you just gotta hope they figure it out, man.
Any chance of Gilchrist coming back to help the offensive line?
I don't know if he's definitely out for the year or if it's one of those, like, he's probably out for the year, but maybe we'll get him back late kind of things. I haven't really asked around. I've been meaning to, but a kid like that, a freshman offensive lineman, how much is he going to give you if he comes back?
After being hurt.
Yeah, after being hurt as a freshman with a couple games left, but it definitely wouldn't hurt. I mean, he's at least one of their 6 best offensive linemen,
right,
even as a freshman, and we'd be talking about him not as much because he's an offensive lineman, but we'd be talking about him with Malik Washington and these other guys if he was healthy.
It'd be nice if he comes back and plays the last 3 games so he only plays 4 and maintains a red shirt.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Larry's thinking ahead. I like this. But that's the thing, that I think there's 2 guys who had, 2 reserves who I think they've said specifically are out for the season, and everybody else is just kind of like, I don't know, whatever. So maybe it's something that he can recover from. It'd be nice to get him a little bit of game time, and if they make a bowl, to be able to get those practices in and play in the bowl game, I think would be huge for a kid like that. So again, that's the hope. And otherwise, you just got to hope you get a little bit more injury luck at certain positions, and kind of ride this out, because they still don't have a lot of depth in a lot of areas. Offensive line being, I think, the main one you think about right now. So if you want something to hope for, that's where you hope. That's where you want to aim all that positive energy towards the OL, because there's not a lot behind this current group.
Yeah, the Jalen Gilchrist injury is on the football side. Unfortunately, basketball has had an injury as well. Raquise Passmore out for the year. And the biggest thing for me, he wasn't expected to be a starter, but when you're bringing in all these guys, one of the cool things about it is you did a lot of this buy low, sell high thing with these guys who had high ratings but didn't have a great year last year. You don't know which one of them are going to blow up, and he could have been one of them, but now that numbers game has one less person in it.
Yeah, you have that many. It's like having a whole bunch of high upside stocks, and
right, exactly.
15, a few are going to outperform, and that's one less that has a chance to do that.
Right.
And he was their most athletic wing guy. He hasn't obviously, proved that he can produce in college. Last year he was sick for a while. He also had an injury, so I'm not counting that freshman year too much against him at Kansas, but now there's got to be some other guys stepping up. I think the most likely guy who's impacted is probably Andre Mills. They don't have a ton of bigger wing kind of guards, and so he's the obvious, I would think, next guy up in the rotation with a chance to earn some of those minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a killer because he's kind of a run and jump athlete, and he doing an Achilles can really, really hurt you even more long term. That could be a 2-year recovery to really get back. So we'll see how that goes for him. That's really bad news. But I mean, you got 14 other guys. You just have, and so much of this that Larry, I think, was getting at was like, we don't know who these dudes are. I mean, we don't know. Most of them we've never seen play significant minutes before, certainly not at this level. So not only are they new to Maryland, they're new to the Big Ten. They're new to this kind of, other than the Paynes and the Washingtons and guys like that, we don't know who the starting lineup's even really going to be. We don't. It's hard to project these things out until they really get going. And he felt like a guy that you might be that guy you get 10 or 15 minutes off the bench for, just as a real energetic wing spark plug. And it's just a real shame. But injuries happen. What are you going to do, right?
There's a lot of optimism about Mills, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, he looks pretty good. He was a top 100 recruit a year ago, and then he redshirted, which obviously is pretty rare for top 100 recruits. So, I think he still might be – he's probably a year or two away from being a finished product. I think from what I hear, he's still a little raw but very strong. He's athletic and slash. I don't think he – I don't know if he shoots the jumper quite as well as Passmore, but if you watch his video, you can see he's one of those guys, who can slash, shoot a little bit, and plays with a lot of aggressiveness.
I'm just bummed I can't make pass more, shoot more puns and witticisms in game threads, because I was just I was lining them up and I was ready to go, and now that's been taken away from me, and that's the real tragedy here.
Now he's cheer more, or Rakis chest bump more.
Yeah, well, you can't. He's got to stay on the ground though with that Achilles. We don't want to,
True.
can't quite do the jump chest bump, which is crucial there. So we got to nominate another guy. I feel like Turkson might be a good chest bump guy.
Well, Nick Blake.
I was just going to say.
Oh yeah, well, obviously, yeah. If Nick's not going to get on the court very much, having him as a designated vibes and chest bump guy could be a huge call there.
All right. Well, do we want to go to?
Well, we got to talk about we got basketball recruiting, right? It's like this.
Yeah.
We're still kind of in the middle of this thing, and there's some rumors that maybe things aren't going the way we'd like, but we should probably outlay that before we go too far, right, Jeff?
Are we back in Willard and Turgeon land here?
Turgeville? We're a bit in Turgeville right now.
I don't think so. I mean, I can see why you might be a little concerned. This is Buzz Williams' first kind of extended drought. He's had a few kids go elsewhere, and that, some of it is perception. Obviously, he had two of them go to Vanderbilt, one being a local kid, Anthony Brown last week, the point guard from Carroll. So there's still not a local commit on the roster. It seemed like they were going to get the Sheffield kid, big man, and then he switched after his Maryland visit. He committed to Vanderbilt, also kind of late. So they're really cooking there. And now Junior County, the number 2 guard, the shooting guard in the country, kid from Utah, who they've been working on forever, dating back to their time at Texas A&M. Everything I'm gathering is UConn there, should be announced pretty soon. So I don't know if they'll necessarily take a guard to replace him. That Diggy Coit is the only guard I think who'll graduate after last year. So it's not like the front court is a much bigger pressing need for them right now. And they'll try to address that this weekend with Tristan Reed, who's, I believe, number 66 player in the country, number 7 center, has visited several other schools, Ohio State, Mississippi State, maybe Michigan State. I'm forgetting the other two, but they really could use a big man next year. There's, as I've said a million times, basically no centers on the roster for next year. So that's a big visit this weekend for them, and they could use a little dose of momentum after this, mini drought that they've had the past month or so.
Yeah, they're going to have to kill it in the portal.
He did it last year. You wonder maybe he's better with the portal than high school, or they're definitely being more selective too. You have to count that in. A lot of these kids who visited, not a lot, but several of them who visited would be Terps by now if Maryland wanted them. There's guys, Trent Perry, the kid who committed to Kansas today, Trey Beamer, the number 9 point guard who's going to announce on Friday, has Maryland on his list. I think they could have had him. And then Caden House, who visited recently also, I think was really high on Maryland, but I'm not sure that, they're going to go in that direction now. So some of it is also that they seem to, when they bring in these kids for officials, to some extent, it feels like an interview for them to see if the kid is a good fit for them, because Buzz is such a unique coach. He values discipline and total loyalty and really hard work. And so it has to be the right kind of guy, the right kind of personality and work ethic, more so than with some other programs. And I think, so they have passed on it, several guys who other, pretty good schools have wanted.
Yeah, for me, I think the issue is you need to make sure you get at least one big man, one freshman big man in this class, because as we've seen, even with the portal exploding the way it has, it's really hard to get good big men out of the portal. I mean, they kind of cheated by being able to get Payne last year. Otherwise, you'd be looking at a Saunders and a Solo as kind of, and the kid they got, the shot blocker kid from, lower levels, whose name is
Metcalf.
There you go. Otherwise, you're slumming. Right. There's just not a lot of really quality big men in the portal most of the time. And if there are, you got to pay them $4 million or something to come. Whereas you can get 1 million guards. Like there's always 1 million guards. There's always lower level guards you can go get, but big men are still kind of special. So I think you'd really like to get that Reed kid locked up if you can, just so you got a body here. And then you can kind of work off of that. But I'm not sure they got any other guys in the hopper behind him at this point. Right, Jeff, in terms of big guys?
Latrell Allman is still a possibility. I don't think he's scheduled to visit yet. He's a big kid from Virginia. He's really climbed this past summer. I think he's number 27 ranked now, whereas he was somewhere in the second half of the top 100. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on if they can make a move there. Otherwise, there's not a lot of bigs. Asher Ellison is a kid who visited, and another one of those guys who I think they could have had committed if they wanted. He hasn't committed anywhere yet, so we'll see there. He's not necessarily a big, though. He's more of a, thin, athletic 4 kind of guy.
Like the kid they signed from Texas, right? Whose name is also escaping me.
He's kind of like maybe a little bit like the Alex kid from who they signed from Chicago, actually, the 6'10" kid, the sniper, Alex Austin.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more in that vein, but the list is thinning out. Half of them are guys that they decide to pass on, and then there's some they've lost. And Junior County, I think, is going to be one of those. And so, obviously, the big name is still Baba, right? The kid.
Right, and he's 6'9", but he's not he doesn't play like a
huge.
No, he's not going to be a center. I'm just talking general recruiting center. Yeah, there's really, they probably have a few names tucked away we don't know about, but there's not really a lot of known guys. And then the other thing is, they kind of had the misfortune of coming to the area right probably during the weakest class in years. I mean, there's really not that much other than Baba. There's not a lot out there this year. As I've said before, last year was a better year. Willard was, I don't know what he was doing, but he was not recruiting those guys.
He's getting ready to go to Nova, apparently, because
he's ended up at home. Yeah, well, that is what he was doing, for being honest. But, 2 of them go to Michigan State, guys that you could have used. So this year's class is definitely down for what you usually get out of the DMV. So that hasn't helped, especially in terms of cracking the seal.
He doesn't recruit the DMV anyway, does he?
He's trying, but I think a big thing is, he wants to make sure that when he does take that first DMV kid, it's a perfect situation so that guy doesn't, if you take that first one, he flames out, then it hurts you with other local.
Yeah, but none of the coaches are DMV either. Like it's all so.
The man's not an idiot. He knows that there's talent in the WCAC and around here. So like he's going to find the guys, but he's clearly just, he's not going to take any dude. He doesn't care about he could probably have Caden House. Caden House is a top 40 player, but if he doesn't feel like he fits the system and he doesn't feel like he's got the attitude and the mental things that he demands of his players, he's not going to take him. And you know what? That's fine.
Win and that's fine. Lose
exactly.
And it's not fine.
Because he hasn't lost the game yet. So until he loses, it's fine. And then once he starts losing, then we can complain. But until then, I will stand back and let the man work his magic and see what happens.
Overall, including the portal, he has clearly recruited better than most people realize. Now he's got these 2 solid kind of foundational players committed. Now you got to get that star power on there, whether it's Baba or someone else. You got to layer on the really high upside types if you're going to be like trying to compete to do really big things. So the next few months will be very interesting to see how he rounds out the class.
Yeah, right. County's a bummer because he's just so many tools in his bag, and just he would have been a force multiplier for a team like that. So good for UConn, and screw Danny Hurley.
All right, let's move on. Let's do Paul's picks versus Larry's locks versus Erman's evaluations. And let's look at the gloriousness. Let's just look at this. 9 out of 10, I was a last-second field goal away from being 10 out of 10.
See, that's what happens when Larry's in the hospitals doing nothing but studying college football.
Yeah. Always been doing player on every roster now.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I told you guys I sometimes make big bets, but often on Saturdays I make a whole bunch of tiny $10 bets just so I have all these games to root for. And I went 8 out of 10 in my $10 bets this week. So I was good about that. I won those too. So I had a good week. Yeah.
Must be nice.
I just take way too many upsets. It's the same story of my March Madness failures. Right. Too many upsets.
So, for the people on the radio who can't hear, Paul is 31 out of 50. I'm in first place with 38 out of 50. And Jeff? pulling up the rear at 28 out of 50. Let's go to week 6. We have 10 games again. I added in 2 more after I sent them to you guys just because I wanted more Big Ten stuff. We're all going to pick the same thing, I think, but I wanted more Big Ten stuff. So anyway, I've made my picks. They're hidden in white on white text. Let's start now. Paul, Duke at Cal.
Cal is actually pretending to be a decent football program these days, aren't they? I don't know. I think Duke's pretty good, but let's go with the home team, having them fly across the country. Give me Cal.
Jeff?
I know Cal has one player who's really good, whose name I can't even come close to.
Sango Patele or something like that.
That's it, yeah. So because of him, I choose Cal.
Okay. Paul, Michigan State at Nebraska.
Again, Michigan State is okay. I think Nebraska might be a little better than okay, and they're at home. They might be looking ahead to the big Terps matchup. That's my only concern, but they should probably take care of business.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah, I think Nebraska's better. They're at home. They should win.
Okay. Texas at Florida.
Disappointment versus disappointment with a dash of Manning.
Right.
I don't know. I think Billy Napier is done. And Texas is just gonna win that game. What are we doing?
Okay.
Yeah,
Florida's not good.
I can't pick Florida. They're terrible. He's a dead man walking.
This week is tough because there's a lot of games that just look like blowouts this week. So we'll see. But Texas Tech at Houston. Really interesting game in the Big 12. Texas Tech, the NIL team, and Houston upstart to both undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, I think Texas Tech has looked a little better than Houston from the little bit that I've caught and from Big 12 world. But Houston's at home, and give me the Cougars.
All right, Jeff.
Big game from Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm going with Houston.
All right. Yeah. Wisconsin at Michigan. Now, we didn't originally have this, but added in, we get to see how Wisconsin responds to the beatdown that Maryland laid on, and we get to see the second best freshman quarterback in the Big Ten, Bryce Underwood. The number one recruit, but second best player.
Type it in, Larry.
Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff also.
ESPN agrees with you, by the way, Larry. You saw.
I know they do.
They had
other people who don't.
Malik Washington ranked as the number 1 freshman in the country so far, and then they combined Stewart and Mathis in the number 5 spot.
Yep.
I got to take Michigan. Wisconsin stinks.
And I guess you guys are both taking Ohio State over Minnesota.
Yeah, they can row their boat down the Ohio River back home with the L.
Yeah. Minnesota did pull a victory last week against Rutgers, which was one of my picks. All right, Virginia at Louisville. This is an interesting game. Virginia's ranked after being Florida State.
Yeah, who's put on a bit of a show last week? Was that the Friday night game? Is that the Thursday? It was one of those games.
That was Friday night.
Yeah, it was a standalone. I watched all of it. That was fun. That was fun. They're riding high.
It might have got screwed a little bit because that looked like a touchdown to me, but it's okay.
Yeah. I think he bobbled it.
I think he bobbled it personally, but yeah, I could have seen that go either way.
All right. Virginia.
It was just the fact that like he caught it and it looked like he secured it when he still had 2 feet in, and then he let go of it for a second, like you could see his hands. I don't know, but it's crazy. We have cameras that can actually see that to like the millisecond now. It's pretty wild. Anyway, Virginia riding high. Quarterback looked incredible. Give me Louisville. Screw the Who's.
You pulled a
sorry.
Corso. Misdirection.
Sorry.
Yeah,
not so fast.
Corso too. Yeah. All right, Jeff.
I'm with Paul. Louisville. I think Virginia is in a classic letdown spot after that big win. And
all right. Vanderbilt, who looks maybe like a top 10 team, at Alabama, who has played really well since that opening week loss to Florida State. Big brand against a team that Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, man, that guy is brash and he is backing it up. It is an interesting game.
Yeah, did you see Vanderbilt locker in their locker room? their locker room has everybody else's, and then he has his own little like island with his own locker.
I did not see that.
I mean, Vandy owns Bama now too. You have to remember that Vandy's been owning them for the past 1 year.
They beat them last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. Go ahead, Paul.
Paul here, but I'm going Vandy. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay, Paul.
Again, if these were two different uniforms, I would pick Vanderbilt in this game. But I think Bama's figured themselves out, and they're going to remember last season, and they're not going to.
All right.
They're not going to let that happen again.
Miami at Florida State, probably the game of the week.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun and closer than it should be, but Miami looks like a wagon.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that's tough. Miami does look really good, but Florida State is in that bounce back spot, so give me FSU for the upset.
Okay, and the final game we're picking this week, Washington at Maryland. Paul?
This is one of those classic head versus heart scenarios with a bit of a twist. My head thinks Maryland's going to win this game. I think Maryland's defense is going to be the best thing they've seen other than Ohio State, maybe even just as good as Ohio State right now. But I'm a Maryland fan.
Arvell Reese.
I'm a Maryland fan.
Those guys are.
You got to show it to me, man. You got to show it to me before I'm gonna do it. So give me the Huskies.
Okay, Jeff.
I picked Maryland against Wisconsin. You could kind of feel the vibes building toward that one, and I feel like this one has bigger vibes. They desperately need to finally end this run that we talked about earlier of having let down spots every time they have a chance to just blow the roof off the thing. They've had a bye week, which, as we know, hasn't necessarily been the best thing. But Washington's situation, last year, I don't know if they won any games when they went east. Maybe one. They were blown out quite a bit, and now they're coming east after that Ohio State game. Everybody at Maryland sees this as a chance to take a really big step forward. Place should be packed. So I think, all the ingredients are there. I feel like, they have a good chance. I'll take Maryland.
There we go, and I'm reviewing.
That's exactly what I wanted, by the way, Jeff, because I wanted us to have the same picks we had for last week because we got to keep the mojo correct. So Thank you for doing that. I don't know. I really think Maryland's probably going to win this game, but I can't pick them. I can't do it.
There are not many differences this week. I've got Texas Tech. You both have Houston. We've all got Cal, Nebraska, Texas, Michigan, Ohio State, and Louisville. Jeff's got Vanderbilt. Paul, you and I have Alabama. Paul, you've got Miami. Jeff, you and I both have Florida State at home. Paul, you've got Washington. Jeff, you and I both have Maryland. I did my preview show during the summer, and I called this game out during that show, noting that it was after a bye week, that it was cross country. I was like, this is a upset possibility, and Maryland's done nothing but look good. So I'm sticking with it. I'm taking Maryland. I'm jumping on.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen this time, or it's never going to happen. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, it just feels like everything is just screaming, this is the one, right? Who knows what happens against Nebraska? We'll worry about that next week. But like this, it feels like this is the one. You got to show me, man. You got to show it to me. They showed it to me on the road against Wisconsin. Showed it to me at home. Can I note that for a second? I'm sorry, Larry. Almost every big program win for the football team has been away from home in the past decade, right? During the Edsel era, at Virginia Tech, right? At Virginia Tech, at Penn State, at Michigan, now at Wisconsin, all on the road. I mean, what's the biggest home win, do you think, for Maryland in the last decade? I mean, you've got that Syracuse team that was ranked, but they weren't any good. Neil Brown, West Virginia, I think they were 6-6 that year. They beat an Iowa team that might have been 6-6 or 7-5, somewhere in there.
Do you count Texas?
Neutral site, but you could squint at that. That was a ranked Texas team, okay.
Yeah.
But that's not even at Burr or USC.
Oh, there's
6-6 USC.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is they're due.
They're so incredibly due. It's more due. They're more due for that than they were to finally get a defensive end that could come in and rush the passer, and they got 2. So again, everything feels like it's screaming for it this time, and you just hope they can make it work.
All right. Well, we've done our picks. There they are. Paul's picks versus Larry's locks versus Ermin's evaluations. All right. And now we will end the show with an over-under. I will give you a statement about Maryland sports with an over-under. You'll have to say over-under and then expound upon it. Jeff, we'll start with you. Additional 2026 4-star football recruits that will commit to Maryland, over-under 1.5.
You always nail those torturous numbers, man.
That's the goal.
Tough because, like, they're really, there's not a lot of 2026 names out there still left that they're chasing.
They need a flip, essentially.
They would need a flip or 2. I'll go over just because, A, the class is still so small, like we discussed, and B, they got a lot of momentum right now to capitalize on. So
that accounts for them getting the Virginia Tech kid and then stealing one of Locke's specials at the end, right? That would work.
Yeah. Okay. Paul, attendance on Saturday versus Washington, over under 42,500.
Over. I think the sellout. The weather
Really?
looks perfect. They're doing lots of promotions and stuff. I think they sell out, or if they don't sell out, it'd be damn close. I think capacity is 43.5 or something now.
46.5.
Or 46. Okay, yeah, then they'll definitely get over that number.
Yeah,
I think they're over 40 already, and they'll get some walk-ups too.
I am not one of them. I don't think. Maybe
you've got good reasons though, Larry.
Yeah.
Just send your ticket to somebody else.
Shout out to Old Line Tailgate. Come hang.
Go to Old Line and yell at Jeff. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll see. We'll see how the next few days go, and maybe I had been targeting this game, but I don't know. All right, Jeff, wins for the basketball team this year, over under 20. Regular season. 31 games. So that'd be 20 and 11. They've got some tough out of conference, and then they've got 20 conference games. So 20 and 11. Over under.
Probably go under just because of those really tough non-conference games and the fact that it's like a whole team of new pieces, even though a few of them were together at Texas A&M. That usually takes some time to get going. So
that sounded pretty bubbly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody has them, right? Lenardi has them as a 10 seed, I think. They're the picture of a bubble team heading into the season. As we know, that doesn't mean anything, but
yeah. Okay. Paul, you there too?
Yeah, right around there. I mean, there's so many pieces. It's hard to say, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was one of those teams that was like one of those 19 and 11, 18 and 12 teams that sneaks their way in the tournament and is just kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. But I don't think they're going to put it together super quick.
All right, Paul, touchdowns. Malik Washington will throw in his Maryland career, over under 76. That's 19 a year, and hopefully 13 games a year to do that. So about 1.5 per game.
I'm going to say under because I feel like either he is going to succeed through 3 years enough to be an NFL prospect or to get, even Locke's permission to go to chase a title or something that 4th year. But
that was so
broke Larry's heart with that one.
Jesus.
We've been down this road before, and unlike Leah, he's got a pro body and a pro arm, and I
going
think
pro. I can deal with it.
Again, I'm saying it's you might be setting yourself up for disappointment to expect 4 years out of a guy like that. I think that's fair in this.
Do you know why I picked 76? By the way,
I do not.
That's Talia's number.
Oh, there
That's
you go.
The most. So,
I mean, if we knew he was here for 4 years, I would take the over. But I don't suspect that's going to be.
Yeah, he's going to the NFL after 3 years, I think.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Days until Terps basketball Over under 26.
So the first game?
Mm-hmm. Well, first exhibition game.
I don't think you'd ask me if it wasn't under, so I'm going under.
It's exactly 26.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have the.
You should have known when he didn't say like 26.5.
That's a good point. Yeah.
The 26 days. That's kind of crazy.
If football can keep this up and basketball gets off to a hot start, and Jim Smith and his ideas and everything that he's saying and doing is all pretty exciting for fans, I think you can really see kind of the fan base starting to get energized again.
By the way, we're going to Vegas to watch the basketball team play right before Thanksgiving. Jim, Kirby, give us a call. Let's do some things.
I'm just going to say right now I'm a little nervous about that too. I'm canceling a lot of stuff, so.
Well, you gotta buck up. You gotta focus. I said let's not come back from injury too early. You gotta make sure you're ready physically and mentally.
I thought that was not an issue at all because it's far enough out, but we'll see. Anyway,
I believe
not to be a downer. Anyway, all right. I'm canceling all my gigs. It sucks, man. It sucks. Not going to any games. It just sucks. Anyway, all right. Paul, last one. Washington versus Washington puns made by the broadcast crew on Saturday over under 1.5.
Oh God, yeah, that's probably gonna be bad. I would need to see who the team is because certain teams are way worse about that stuff than others, but probably over is safe, I think, on that one.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Matt Millen, I'm good.
Why do they do that? Why? It's so painfully obvious he doesn't like Maryland. He views the game from whatever team Maryland's playing, he views it from their gaze. Like as a fan of that team, Maryland throws a 20-yard pass and he's like, "Oh, you can't do that. You've got to cover from the inside." Like that's his angle every time.
Oh well, if my boy Aaron is
in addition to that, like I tweeted this. I spent many nights earlier in my career in high school press boxes listening to like old football coaches and ADs just ramble about the game, and it is deja vu listening to him do a game. It sounds exactly.
Well, if my guy Aaron is right and it's Jake Butt, he's actually quite good on the color call, so maybe it won't be so bad. But I don't know. We'll see. He's a Michigan guy, but he's fair. He's good.
Yeah,
he is good.
All right, well, that's going to do it. If you guys have not clicked like or clicked subscribe yet, please do that. We appreciate all that. We appreciate all your guys' comments in the chat and being here live with us. And it was really good having Zion on the show. Get to talk to him a little bit. Very excited about him coming, so that's going to be good. Yep. All right. We will be back next Wednesday, hopefully after a Maryland victory. Hopefully they'll be 5-0 at that point. We will see you guys next week. This is IMS Radio.